Billah. This agitation is coming, this guy is speaking, is spewing. Some of you have like a da'wah booth on your campus and some guy comes and starts spitting out all kinds of stuff about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you're sitting there, you're like 18 years old, like, yeah, kafir, I'll show you, it begins, What did Allah tell His Messenger? خُذِ الْعَفُو خُذِ الْعَفُو. This is in the context of da'wah. First of all, hold on to forgiveness. وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ. And then bring the conversation back to what everybody recognizes. In other words, don't talk to him about, he will try to talk to you about tangents. And he'll try to take the conversation in 30 different directions. Hey, by the way, in your tafsir of like Tabari says that, your prophet, blah, 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 blah. And you listen to all of that like, what, Tabari? What are you quoting? Do you even know who Muhammad Tabari was, dude? By the way, those of you that are in the field of da'wah, or you have non-Muslims that come up to you and mess with you, or a class you're taking, and Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah is mentioned, watch out. Imam al-Tabari was a historian. Imam al-Tabari was a historian, and his job was to collect anything that's ever been said about the Quran, right or wrong. He just collected it. He wasn't a mufassir. His tafsir is called Tafsir al-Tabari, but it's really a collection of all manner of quotes, right or wrong. He said, this is what I'm hearing being said about this ayah. He didn't verify it, he didn't collect it. He was just saying historically, he wanted a record that in this century, these kinds of opinions about this ayah existed, whether right or wrong. Now, that becomes amazing ammunition for evangelicals or anti-Islamists or whatever, because they can find all kinds of crazy things in which tafsir Imam al-Tabari, and that's not his opinion, and nor is he saying this is what the Quran means. He's just saying, this is what people be saying about the Quran. Check it out. That's all he did. It was an encyclopedia of quotes. It was imagine it was like the old wiki. It was an old collection of comments, archived. That's what it was. So, we get there was an imam, and he said that in his tafsir. Oh, how are we going to ever respond? But anyway, this guy's throwing tangents at you, and what does the ayah say? The ayah says, وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ. Command to al-urf. It's not even al-ma'ruf, it's al-urf. And al-urf is actually it's less demanding than the word ma'ruf. Ma'ruf means that which is known. Everybody knows about it. But al-urf is actually even more what you can call a social norm. Call to the norm. Call to the common ground. Look, I don't know what you're talking about, but let's talk about the right of the neighbor. Let's talk about decency. Let's talk about this God who created everything. The norm. Everybody knows about that stuff. Bring it back to the common elements. Don't complicate a conversation. You see, people who try to get under your skin, they love complicating conversations. And if you notice one thing about prophetic speech, it's always direct, to the point, and most important of all, it's simple. It's straightforward. It cuts to the point. It doesn't allow tangents. وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ. Then the Prophet is told, alayhi salatu wasalam, وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Deliberately ignore people who can't control their emotions. Guy comes up to you, he's got jahal. Jahal means ضد aql. Aql means you can control your emotions. Jahal means you can't control your emotions. Urdu speakers have some idea of what jahil means. Bada jahil aadmi hai, isko tamiz bhi nahi baat karne ki, etc. When we say that, right, that's kind of correct. Jahil means a guy who can't hold himself. He starts using foul language, starts getting loud, starts getting obnoxious, maybe even starts getting physical, his face starts changing colors and all this stuff. That guy, you need to do what with that guy? أعرض عنه, يعني أعرض عن الجاهلين. Get away from those people. Ignore them. This is not a time to talk to them. If they're going to turn into a gorilla, no point speaking to a gorilla. It's just as productive as speaking to an actual gorilla. You're not going to get anywhere. So just leave it. Let it go. Maybe there'll be another chance when he's not so overtaken by shaitan's waswasa. We'll find another time to talk. Right? So if he's really losing it, you just let go. Just let it go. By the way, when people lose it, they get even more offensive, right? And when you're walking away, and what are you, chicken? Huh? Can't handle my questions, huh? I thought so. All you Muslims, take your Quran with you, etc., etc. And then as you're walking away, what happens? What you say about me? And you turn back, now I'm going to put the smack down on you, boy. I'm going to teach you. So I'm going to use I prepared all the arguments to make you feel so stupid, and I'll put you in your place. And that's when this ayah comes up. وَإِمَّا يَنْزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٍ. And even when the shaitan starts agitating you, the ayah is to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, even if you might even have the possibility, and the ma was used because it wouldn't happen with Rasulullah. The ma protects the Rasulullah from the waswasa of shaitan. Because he made a shaitan Muslim. That's why the ma is important. But by extension, all of us are covered. How are we covered? As you're walking away from the ignorant, does he get more aggressive or less aggressive? He gets more aggressive, which pokes at your ego. So Allah says to the messenger, listen, if that happens, then shaitan will come to you, because shaitan likes to excite the ego. And at that point, just seek Allah's refuge. That's shaitan. That's the urge to want to go back and take him on and take him down and watch him be humiliated in public. That urge was not from Islam. That was from shaitan. That wasn't da'wah. That was your pride. So watch it. And seek the refuge of Allah. Certainly He is listening and knowing. It's pretty powerful. But that's Surah Al-A'raf, where Allah mentioned that Allah hears and Allah sees. So Allah hears what He said. Allah hears what you're going to say. Allah knows what is in His heart, and Allah knows what's in your heart. So if you turn around in arrogance, Allah will know. The words might be of Islam, but the heart has nothing of Islam. On this note, before I go to the next ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal describes a very powerful phenomenon in the Quran, a very deep statement in the Quran. Allah says, وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. Shaitan beautified their actions to them. Shaitan beautified their actions to them. People mostly understand this ayah in one way. They understand this ayah to mean there are things that are haram, like alcohol or partying or drugs or whatever, and shaitan beautified the haram for them. They beautified, whether it's they're committing zina or they're lying or stealing or whatever they're doing, disrespecting elders, whatever they're doing, shaitan beautified it for them. But this ayah means something else also. This ayah also means when you're doing the work of deen, but you're doing it for the wrong reasons. When you're doing the work of what? What did I say? Of deen, of Islam. You're doing da'wah. You're praying. You're doing good stuff. But you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Shaitan beautifies that too. Shaitan beautifies good deeds too. Because he doesn't care about the deed. What does he care about? That your heart should be corrupt. Once your heart is corrupt, you could outwardly be doing good things, but he knows it'll mean nothing. So he'll beautify it to you, and you'll be delusional into thinking you're accomplishing great things. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They will assume that they've accomplished incredible things. On the outside, everybody will think, this guy's amazing da'i, mashallah. They're doing so much work. They've accomplished so much, but you've accomplished nothing, because in the heart, it was just the extension of one's pride. That's all there was, Now turn to the other ayah in which Allah emphasizes His presence even more than the first one. Now the first one was hard, because someone obnoxious came to you, and you have to hold on to forgiveness like it's almost like forgiveness is not the first thought that came to your mind when you heard this guy speak. So you had to hold on to it. Then you had to speak, but speak the decent thing. Stay on subject. And walk away when things get out of hand. وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. All of this is extremely easy or extremely hard? This is extremely hard, but it's about to get a lot harder. Surah Fussilat, things get a lot harder. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَةُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَةُ. First of all, remember, the good and the evil are not the same. Good and evil are not the same. Well, what in the world does that mean? Good and evil are not the same. Why even begin like that? That is teaching the Rasul of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of us by extension, that not only are you to speak in a good way, not only is your message good, but the way in which you deliver it is part of goodness. So somebody could be saying a terrible thing, but they have a nice way of saying it. And somebody could be saying wonderful things, but they have a terrible way of saying it. Not only is our message supposed to be good, the way in which we deliver that message is supposed to be good as well. Because if you put any element of bad in your message or in the way you deliver it, it'll turn into something bad. Look, you can ask someone to pray. You can ask your younger son to pray. There's a nice way to ask and there's a terrible way to ask. Son, it's salat time. You want to go pray together? Oh, I'm lazy. Come on, I'll get you some ice cream afterwards. It's a nice way to pray. Nice way to ask. Then there's you. Shaitan, you never make salat. Better see you making wudu right now. Just go pray. Why are you so late for Asr? How come you never pray? You're such a waste of space. I told you your mother, you're like her family, etc., etc. He caught her side of the genes or whatever. I mean, in both cases, you asked him to pray, but there's a way to say it. You see what I'm saying? Not just what you say, but how you say it. So that's how the ayah begins. Then what does he say? He says, idfa' billati hiya ahsan. Respond with what is better. Respond with the word, with al-kalima yani, billati hiya ahsan. Respond with the word that is better. Respond with the answer that is better. What does that mean? That means the guy's coming, he's obnoxious like last time, he's cursing, he's using foul language, he's attacking Islam left, right, and center. You have to respond this time. Last time you could do what? You could walk away. You forgive, stay quiet. Maybe you get to say one thing, but you walk away.